Ken, and this is Jacob, and we're from Gobbler Ridge Television, coming from Gobbler Ridge Farms. And today we're going to take you through a recipe for the can cooker. I got that for Christmas a couple of days ago, and we made some ribs in it last night. That was our first meal that we cooked in there. Turned out spectacular, and we didn't really have a chance to do a video on all that because the kitchen over the Christmas holidays wasn't exactly good background material. So we're going to start with a recipe. Let me show you what we've got here. Jacob's holding the cookbook. Show them the cover.
Oh.
Yeah, the cover. And this is the cookbook that comes with a can cooker. We're going to do a sausage, peppers, and onions recipe tonight. The great thing about the can cooker is you can alter and doctor some of these recipes. So we're going to come close to what they have in their recipe, but we may modify it slightly.
Yeah.
Some of the things that we are going to be using, we're going to use olive oil for our spray. And I hate to do this, but I'm using Yuengling Lager. I'm using a really delicious, wonderful beer for cooking. You can use whatever suits your taste and palate.
What if I want to eat it?
It'll cook out of there. You'll be fine. I'll need your ID though. Now the recipe doesn't call for this, but I like to throw in a little clove of real garlic. There's nothing like getting that real garlic taste. I know garlic powder and everything is ground up, and I like to throw a little bit in there. We're going to be using some McCormick all-purpose seasoning here. It calls for a couple of onions. We're going to use a white onion as well as a yellow onion to kind of give it some variety. The recipe calls for 5 green peppers, but we like color and variety and to be kind of spectacular with our meal. So we're going to use yellow pepper, green pepper, red pepper. I've already cut one up over there. I don't like a whole lot of pepper in mine, so I'm going to cut that down to 4. Once again, the great thing about the can cooker is you can modify the recipe any way you want to suit your particular taste. It's very, very forgiving. The other thing that we're going to throw in there, we had some mushrooms we were going to use on a salad. Not quite salad quality. So part of the way through the cooking, we'll cover this in just a little bit when we get to that point. We're going to go ahead and throw those in as well. Now, I used to be in refrigerated distribution, and one of my clients was Johnsonville. They're great people, and they have some really fantastic products. So we're going to be using sweet Italian sausage from Johnsonville. Once again, whatever suits your taste, whatever the brand is in your area that you like. This recipe calls for sweet Italian sausage, and this is what we are going to go with. All right. The other thing that we're going to do is you can choose to brown your sausages. I kind of like mine a little brown just for the presentation and all. So before we get started, we're going to go ahead and brown up the sausages, and we'll be back with you as soon as we have that ready to go. Okay, you might hear a little sizzling going on. I'm over here browning the sausages in the pan before we put them in the can cooker. I just like the presentation. The goal is to not cook these all the way through. We just want to try to get the casings, kind of browned up a little bit so they look good when they come out of the can cooker. One of the other little things that I do is to keep the sausage casings from sticking to your hot pan and tearing them up. I'd like to start off with just a little bit of avocado oil. I don't like using, a lot of people use olive oil. That has a tendency to break down and create some carcinogens when you put it over very high heat. I don't mind spraying the inside of the can cooker with it because it's a kind of a steam convection and it doesn't have quite the heat that you're going to have. But our goal is to try to just get, I don't know if you can see that or not, to try to get a little browning on the outside casings here, just to make it look nice and pretty. The other thing I also want to kind of mention about these Johnsonville sausages, one of those things that I like is that they have no nitrates or nitrites in them. So they're, you hate to say healthier sausages, but every little bit helps, I suppose. Alright, I've got another pack I need to finish browning up here, so I know you don't want to see me sitting here flipping these in the pan. So we'll take a break for now, and once I have these browned up, we'll go ahead and pick back up with the rest of the recipe. All right, we've got the sausages cooked, and one of the things that we're going to do, let me put you over inside my bucket here, is one of the accessories that you can get are these wire racks. It comes in 2 pieces so that you can fit it through the mouth of the opening, and that is really good for keeping the food off the bottom so that it doesn't scorch, lifts it up out of the liquid, allows the liquid to circulate, and that's what's really cooking is the hot steam from the liquid that you put in to the can cooker. And it's cooking with basically with convection. As that steam loops around, it's cooking your food, keeps it very moist, and keeps it from burning, and really gives it a nice, slow feeling cook, but it cooks fairly quickly, so if that makes any sense. So what we're going to do now is, Jacob, if you'll go ahead and throw those over in, we're going to start cutting up these peppers and throwing the onions and peppers down into the bottom on top of that rack there. So I'm going to start cutting this up. Doesn't have to be pretty, just has to get in the pot.
Oh, little piece. Yep. Smells good already.
Smells good already.
Probably from the ribs.
It's probably from browning those sausages a minute ago.
Or the ribs.
Oh, you like the peppers that good?
Yeah. Can I have a little piece of pepper?
Sure. Just stick your finger in there while I'm cutting. Otherwise, even the green peppers will be red. You got that?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Don't eat it all now. All right, got a little red pepper. Put the red pepper in there.
It's like boomerang.
All right, we're going to go with a little yellow pepper now. One of the things I like to do is, to be cooking a lot of times is about presentation as well as taste. If you have a good presentation and no taste, that's not good, but it always seems to enhance the dining experience if it looks good too.
Don't we recommend the can cooker?
I don't know, we haven't any, this is the first time we made this particular recipe.
But we recommend
We're kind of ad-libbing now, but from the ribs last night I'd recommend it. I loved it.
Yeah, for ribs, this is a good thing to use.
Of course, that'll be a different future video. All right, now we have a little yellow pepper.
Yep, yellow peppers.
All right, put that in there. Don't eat it all. Maybe I should have gone with the 5 peppers.
I'm only doing a little bit of pepper. I'm not eating it all. I'm just eating like 1 or 2 pieces.
I was over there cooking the sausage a minute ago, and we weren't cooking it all the way through. He was trying to eat my raw sausage. Oh boy.
I'm hungry.
Well, you eat raw sausage. That's a good chance you'll miss school next week.
Yeah. And be in the ER.
And yeah, you won't like the reason. Make sure you have plenty of reading materials on hand, because you'll be spending some time elsewhere, not in the kitchen. Alright, there's our last of the green peppers. That's going in. Let's get that out of the way so I can whack up some onions here. Oh, these things always make me cry.
He likes to joke around. What was that?
I dropped a piece on the floor.
That's fine.
We can sweep it up. That's kind of like editing in real life.
Should I get it right now?
If you want to.
Yeah, I'll get it.
I'm old and my back is weak. I don't want to bend down that much. I especially don't want to bend down on camera. We'd lose viewers that way. Trust me. Just gonna chunk this onion up. While you get the piece I dropped on the floor, I'm gonna go ahead and drop a few of these chunks over in there. Alright, got some white onion. Might not be able to see it on the white cutting board that's camouflaged.
Why can't I put it in?
Oh, because you were getting that off the floor. Go wash your hands.
No, I use my shirt.
You use your shirt to do what? Wash your hands?
No.
Never trust a 7-year-old who says they wash their hands. Yeah, I wash my hands with my shirt. You'll wind up getting talking to him about his hand washing skills in the comments below. Yeah, maybe you'll get lots of comments on their hand washing technique. I hope you don't grow up to be a surgeon. Yes, Dr. Brown, did you wash your hands? Yeah, I wiped them on my sleeve before I started operating on the patient.
And I'll be like, oh no.
Yeah.
What did
You better have good malpractice insurance on that.
No, I use my shirt to pick the
All right.
onion up.
The yellow onion is slightly more potent. Trust me. Here, put that in there before I start crying on camera. Yeah, that yellow onion, woo, that's a good one.
Oh, look.
Folks, I'm gonna have to cut back and talk to you in a minute because this is too sad for me. Get in there. Alright, now we're gonna take our Yuengling beer, and folks, don't try this at home. I'm an expert. Alright, don't try that at home. Leave that to the pros. Alright, we're gonna pour 12 ounces of beer.
Which is not alcohol though.
Actually, I'm not really crying because of the yellow onion. I'm crying because I love Yuengling beer. It's gone. Alright, this is going to be a clove of garlic.
Just a little piece. Why are we just getting a little tiny piece?
And we're going to mix it around in there. Alright.
That smells weird. Smell that. That smells like a burger from Arby's.
Smells like a burger from Arby's. Well, since when did they start using beer in their burgers?
Smell it. Smell this.
Keep your nose out of my can cooker. Don't sneeze. You'll get more. You'll get more comments down below. All right, now we're going to put in the garlic, onion, black pepper, and sea salt, all-purpose seasoning. Shake that in there real good. 1, 2, 3, 4. What do you think? 5 seconds. That ought to be pretty good.
Yeah.
All right.
Now, can I toss it?
It's time to put in the browned up sausages.
I
All
want
right.
them in. I want to put them in. I want to put them in.
Now you're putting them in. All right, go ahead. Now he's putting his tongue all over the sausages.
Ha, I got it.
Oh man, you got clean hands, but now you're putting your tongs all over the sausages. Come on, molasses. I'm getting hungry. Don't try going to the store with him. At least not if you're in a hurry. All right, let's see what that looks like over in there now. All right. Whoa, it's getting heavy. All right, that looks good.
Yeah, looks better.
Let's put the lid on and get it going.
Looks better than before they.
All right, good job. Yeah. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is put the lid on top here. It has, and I don't know if you can see this. Yeah, you can see that. There's a little vent hole right here. That way this does not over pressurize. and we're going to bring this up to temperature until we start seeing some steam come out of this hole. Now, one of the things, I've got this vent hood here, so I don't want to put this hole underneath here and start steaming up underneath my vent hood. So I always try to orient it so that the steam vent is out here where it can disperse. Now it's a simple matter of locking down these clamps.
Yep.
Let's bring this up to my stove goes you normally want to cook over, most of the time, over a medium type heat. This does not require an extremely hot temperature. I've seen some people cooking on turkey cookers. That is not recommended because it can't get really down to a low enough temperature. But you want to experiment with your particular stove until you get to the point where you start seeing some steam coming out. You don't want a rolling boil because it'll boil off all your liquid and then it'll scorch the inside of your can cooker and all. So you want to get it to where it's a nice little stream of steam coming out of there. Say stream of steam 10 times fast.
Yeah. Stream of steam, stream of steam, stream of steam.
Don't cuss on my video now. You're pushing the limit. But anyway, so you want to get just the right amount of steam coming out there so that it's giving a nice convection cooking without boiling off or steaming off all of your liquid. So we're going to let that get up to speed, and we'll be right back in just a minute. Okay, I'm going to bring the camera over here in just 1 second, but I'm starting to get a little bit of steam. Let me bring you over here so you can hopefully see that. I'm not looking really through the viewfinder right now, but hopefully you can see that contrast right there. So I'm just now getting a little bit of steam starting to come out of the steam vent. So once you get to that point, your temperature is coming up. You want to monitor it for just a little bit to make sure that you don't wind up just starting to rock and roll this thing and get too much steam. But I find that from doing the ribs last night, that I got a real good cook on my particular stove, which is electric. Another good point about the can cooker, you can use it on gas stove, electric stove, camp stove, a grill, lots of different heat sources. So I'm going to watch this for a couple of minutes, make sure that the steam doesn't get up going too terribly fast. When I'm satisfied with that, I'm going to cook this for 30 minutes, and after that it'll be ready to eat. I am going to make one exception to that. If you remember the mushrooms that I said we were going to add to this, I'm going to stop this about 20 minutes into the steaming and add the mushrooms. The reason I'm not doing that now is the onions are very hard. Sausages have a casing on them. They're very hard. The bell peppers are all very fresh and very firm. The mushrooms, though, if I steam them in there for 30 minutes, they're going to degrade and become extremely mushy. So about 2/3 of the way through this, I'm going to go ahead and stop the cooking process to bring it back up to speed and steam it for the final 10 minutes. So we'll be back in about 20 minutes to add the mushrooms in. And are you ready to play Mario Kart?
Yeah, Mario Kart Wii!
All right, I promised my grandson while this was cooking. This is the great thing about the can cooker. You get it started, and you can go play Mario Kart with your grandkids. All right.
Or your kids.
Or your kids. In my case,
or your friends.
In my case, I don't play video games with my kids. They beat me too much, and he's getting to where he's wearing me out. So I'm old school. All right, starting to get the steam. Back in 20. Balloon battle.
Yeah.
Right.
Balloon battle.
Balloon battle.
Are we recording?
Oh, and you asked it while we were doing this, like I'm playing. I'm trying to finish this last final race here, and it's like. Okay, so our 20 minutes is up, and we've been playing a little Nintendo 3DS while we're waiting for it to cook. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the heat off. There's steam coming out of this thing, so I do not want to immediately open it and take a face full of steam. So I'm going to let it cool down for between 2 to 5 minutes, somewhere in there, and then we'll open it. But it's kind of like opening a radiator on a hot car. Yeah, bad things happen. So give this a couple minutes to cool down. Hey, I lost my game. Oh well, I guess I got mushroom duty, and you got Mario Kart duty.
Well, you can play after.
Oh, I can? I was going to say it's great to be a kid. It's great to be a granddaddy too. Okay, let me get to these mushrooms. We'll be right back. Okay, it's been a couple minutes. The steam has stopped coming out of the vent hole, but it's still hot and still steamy inside. Now, one of the things you always want to do with these type cookers, whether you're stopping it midstream or if it's at the end of the allotted cooking time for your particular recipe, is I always like to orient the top handle so that it's facing away from me like this, so that when I grab it, this is going to act as a shield and shield me from the steam, and I open it away from me so that the steam is vented out this way. You know, water boils at 212 degrees, and by my calculation, that's hotter than the 98.6 that my body is, and it will sure enough burn you. Ask anybody, like I said, that's opened a radiator on a hot car. It will